All right, so welcome to a quick little jump rope get to know parts of it video. I'm here in my dashboard. I've made up a class for myself. At this time, it doesn't have any students in it, um, but you can see over on this side your classes, and you'll have many more than just this one that I have for demo purposes. And then there are the comments here, which never really come into play for us in this format. The next tab is courses, and so in your courses tab, you will see all your courses listed here, and then in this area, you will see all of your students will be listed, and that's, as it says, simply a roster of the students in the class that's highlighted to the left. One note as we're passing through here is this Mastery tab. Once you have students in your roster, in your class, and you've assigned them grades, clicking on Mastery will allow you to actually view the students' individual grades for the course so far. And you can dig right down. It starts with the graduation standards and goes through the EOs down to the actual assessments or assignments that you've graded them on. So that's what the courses tab is about. The next tab is the plan tab, and that's a pretty good place to get started with this particular piece. If I want to start planning, I need to first select a course, so I'll select my only course, and I get a screen that is asking me for lots of information. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to head over here to create a unit. And units can be of varying lengths and sizes and shapes, and whatever iteration you happen to want or need to set up, you pretty much can. Some people do it by topic, some people do it by term, some people do it by chapter. You can do it however you want. So I'm going to click on creating a unit, and you can see I've got to start items I need to actually include. So I need to give this a title. I'm going to call mine just chapter 1, whatever that happens to be. I can give it a start date, and the start date could be today, and then the end date might be the 18th. Do I have to do this? No, I do not need to give it dates here in this section. I might leave it blank, and then it's going to always be functioning, accepting grades. I can hit save, and now that we go over here, and you can see that here is my assessment, or sorry, my unit, and underneath now it's asking me a new question to create a new assessment. So within this unit of chapter 1, I need to now start entering assessments. And so the assessment that I might do might be a chapter 1 quiz, let's say, very traditional here to this afternoon, formative. If I do look closely at what happens to the weight, if I pick formative, you'll see that it has virtually no weight, and that's in there by design. So I want this to be a summative, and it has the weight of 1. And notice here I do have to have a date because it is starred, so I need to give this a date, and that might be on the 7th. So we're planning on that for tomorrow. Published in reports, so in other words, that's going to be in a progress report as we go throughout the year. And so yes, you want to have that checked, unless you do want it removed. I can hit save, and there I have my quiz. Now this box only comes up here at the beginning, but it's just a kind of cueing us to remember the next steps. So now it's saying, oh yeah, remember you just made this assessment. You need to kind of align that assessment or hook that assessment to some essential outcomes. And so the next step that we would do is with this highlighted, and I know it's highlighted when it's green, is I'm going to go over here and I'm going to start to add some standards. And initially, this standard pile is huge. It's all of the standards that we have to choose from K through 12. So I begin by simply selecting my topic. So I actually, since they're all selected, I'm going to unselect them all. And I'm going to go down to Science. I'm going to select Science and then hit OK. Now at this point, I have all of these EOs or standards. And I actually only want the standards for grade 8. And so at this point I can hit return, and now I have, in theory, all of the standards that run in, and in this case it's a range of 6 through 8, for all the EOs that land underneath these graduation standards. So I actually, because this is my 7th grade class, I want to select all of these standards to put, not necessarily align with this assessment that I just gave, but to put in this left-hand column on that screen, and so that I have access to them. And so I will select this now, and I only need to do this once, and then they're kind of in my folder or in my collection of things, and I can then choose from them the rest of the time. And yes, there are quite a few of them, and that's fine because I only have to do this once. So now I have them all selected, and I can hit done. There are, as it says in the bottom left-hand corner, 67 standards I've selected. I'm going to hit done. So it is taking that list of 67 science standards for middle school that I selected, and it is hopefully going to put them in my standards folder or box or whatever filing cabinet for this class of Science 7. So here they all are. And so now I am looking at this quiz, and now I can go through and say, all right, well, which of these, of all the science standards that could apply, which ones actually do apply in this particular quiz? So analyzing, interpreting, etc. I can choose some. So I may select this one, and notice as I click on these boxes, over here these numbers change, and it gives me an indication of how many standards are linked to this assessment. I then may go down, science teachers know, oh yeah, science content is probably one I want to put in there, and maybe we carried something out. So we've got 4. Great. Finished. So that's the basic setup for setting up your units, doing your assessment, and then aligning your standards with your assessments, and therefore your grade book is your role here. The next time I add an assessment, all of these standards will be there, so I don't have to add them every time. I can just, they're kind of at my fingertips, and I can just click on them. The next thing I'm going to go to, next tab, is the grade tab. So in the grade tab, we'll see how far I can go with this because I don't have any students. I don't know that I can go that far. We'll see. So I selected it. There is the assessment I just made. You can see the 4 over here. That reminds me that there are 4 standards that are aligned with this. And you can see the 4 standards over here. All right. And at this point, I hate to say it, but you would see all of your students here. I, of course, don't have any. So you could start putting in your scores that you gave to these students around these different standards that are associated with the assessment that we just did. That's pretty much all you need to know just to get started. Okay. The interesting thing would be once you have those in there, the grades in there, you then can go back to the courses tab and click on the mastery tab, and you would actually be able to see what each student has and really why they have that particular score and how it's weighted. Okay? So that's it for now, and hope that some of that was helpful to you. And if there are other things you need to know, please come see me or email me, and I can hopefully get things on the right track.